Often there is no one right answer to any sustainable best practices question. However, as responsible farmers, we pursue practices that complement and protect our unique environment and work proactively to find sustainable solutions. In response to concerns over the occurrences of smoky burns in Napa Valley, the Napa Valley grape growers established a Vineyard Burning Task Force to develop a plan to reduce smoke and preserve air quality in the Napa Valley. This 6-step low-smoke burn approach produces a virtually smoke-free burn that is a sustainable, practical, and economical alternative to traditional ag burning. The first step in the low-smoke burn process is to schedule and discuss your vineyard removal. It is important that the vineyard managers and owners make the decision to remove a vineyard early in the growing season. If the vineyard removal decision can be made prior to harvest, the following steps will be easier to implement. Step 2 is to contact your vine removal contractor. It's important to have your vine removal company engaged in your plans for vineyard removal prior to harvest so that they can coordinate the efficient use of their equipment, and vineyard owners can ensure that the best practices are employed for vine removal and subsequent burning. With adequate preparation and adherence to the Bay Area Air Quality Management District requirements, low-smoke vine burning events can be achieved. Step 3 is the preparation of the vineyard for vine removal. To ensure a clean burn, vines in the vineyard floor must be as clean as possible. To achieve that objective, it is important to remove all treated wood, like end posts, stakes, plastic, and other material that cannot be burned, and mow excessive vegetation between the vine rows as grass in the burn piles generate smoke. Step 4 is the vineyard removal. It is important that the vineyard soil be dry at the time of vine removal, as the vines that are pulled from wet soil conditions tend to retain dirt around the root system. When the vines are piled and burned, excessive dirt in the piles can create smoke. It's also helpful to keep some wire intact, as that provides more control of the vines as they are being pulled. After the vines have laid on the ground for at least a week and have dried sufficiently, you can begin step 5, which is the process of stacking the vines into piles. Be sure to adhere to the Bay Area Air Quality Management District regulations, which can be found online. Dirt, grass, leaves, and moisture in the vine piles will cause excessively smoky burns. Avoid stacking the vines if they are not sufficiently dry. Once the piles are built, consider securing a tarp over the top center of the piles to assist in keeping the center of the piles dry during rain events. And if possible, uncover the piles during longer dry periods. Finally, the 6th step is burning the piles. If the vines are mostly dry and vegetation-free, dried prior to the piling, and piles have been placed in for at least 60 days and have not accumulated excessive moisture, it's likely that the piles will burn with a minimum amount of smoke. Make sure that the day you intend to burn the piles is a permissive burn day. You can call 1-800-435-7247 to confirm. And do not start burning until after 10 a.m. After you have removed the tarps from the piles, there are several ways to ignite a pile, but we recommend the use of a propane torch. Using the torch, light the downwind side of the top of the burn pile. It is wise to light one pile rather than several piles simultaneously to evaluate the level of smoke generated. Once your first pile successfully burns smoke-free, then ignite the remaining piles. If smoke does start to generate, let them dry out a little more time. While there are alternatives to disposing of pulled vines, such as chipping, grinding, or an air burner, it is important to think of the cost, both environmental and economic, attributed to these options. In many cases, a low smoke burn pile is the most sustainable approach when it comes to the climate, as you avoid the fuel consumption and greenhouse gas emissions associated with transporting equipment and the processed or chipped vines. Along with this, there is an added benefit of having the option to recycle your metal once the pile is fully burned. By following the steps laid on this video, you can help significantly reduce the amount of smoke generated from your agriculture burns to help preserve air quality in Napa County.